Hey guys, I'm Alex. Thanks for clicking and welcome to this lesson on farther and further. So these are two words in the English language that are commonly used interchangeably. Some people say, well, both are correct. You can use both in any situation. Actually, there is a small distinction, and regardless of the fact that people use both interchangeably and they use both in different situations or the same situation, you're actually kind of wrong if, grammatically, technically, you're wrong if you use one instead of the other in a given situation. And I'll tell you which situation that is as we go through this. So on the board, we have two sentences, and one of them you should be using farther, one of them you should be using further. So the first one says, you will get farther or further in your career if you study hard. The second one says, Tokyo is farther or further from Toronto than Berlin. Okay, so first I'm going to tell you which one of these is correct in each sentence, and then I will explain why. So first we have, you will get farther/further in your career if you study hard. In this situation, you're actually supposed to say further, okay? Okay, now if you see that here we use further, you have probably deduced that in the second sentence we use farther. So we say Tokyo is farther from Toronto than Berlin. When you look at these two sentences, what is the difference between these two ideas? Okay. First of all, in the second one, when we're using farther, we are talking about a physical distance, okay? So when you think of farther, think of physical distance. So here we go, physical distance. Now here, you will get further in your career if you study hard. You can't actually measure distance in career by meters or by kilometers or by miles, right? What you're talking about is not a physical distance, but a figurative distance, all right? So for further, this is for figurative distance. For example, if you are having an argument with your spouse or a friend, and if they're complaining a lot, and if you say, whoa, if you complain any further, I'm going to be extremely angry, right? So if they complain further, not a physical distance, you can't measure complaining by distance, right? Figuratively, you can. If you complain more, that's what you mean. Then here you should be using further. Now, in informal situations, again, most native speakers use these two words interchangeably. And because they're used interchangeably, because it's in common practice, it's not necessarily incorrect to use them both in the way that we're using them. So this distinction actually is a funny story. Before 1906, further was actually the older word and has been around for a lot longer time than farther. And it was only in 1906 that Merriam-Webster, in the Merriam-Webster dictionary, decided to make the distinction between farther and further. So the reason that even native speakers might have issues with knowing the difference between farther and further is because we've only been distinguishing between them for just over 100 years, right? Okay, guys, if you want to test your understanding of farther and further, you can check out the quiz on engVid.com. Good luck.